All right, so this is a good time to answer this question. Now, I don't usually answer questions, but this is actually very valid because of what I was promoting and not promoting early on with the Jelly Juice rollout. And so when you look at fermented foods, what it's being fermented with, whether it's sugar, whether it's salt, and you can look at fruit, you can look at even the fermentation in alcohol, which is a lot of it's sugar and other stuff. Like anything, fermentation is just breaking stuff down to a pre-digestible state to where it's like a liquid energy that your body doesn't have to break down. It's already broken down, so now it's so easy to use. So if you're fermenting with sugar like kombucha, like anything, it needs to be balanced out with salt. When you're fermenting anything like, yogurt or milk, that's great. Just balance it out with salt with the J juice. Because sugar and salt are very basic forms of energy that do have very specific intentions behind it, and you have to understand what the intentions are and the outcome. So salt is energy, and it will help open up the channels and close channels, but it could energize a lot of your form out of existence unless you're balancing out with sugar and carbs and proteins and amino acids. And so what I've had issues with a while back with the kombucha is that people were just drinking kombucha and that's it, thinking that the probiotics was going to give them everything when they're using sugar as the base, but they're not offsetting the sugar with salt. And they're so afraid of salt, they don't want to feel any kind of pain. So they're drinking a shiz ton of kombucha. And I've done it too, where I just drank kombucha, didn't offset it with the salt fermentation because this is prior to the J juice. And so I was feeling acids actually were eating away at my teeth. Now, my teeth are very, very strong. But you have to offset the other fermented foods that are used as a sugar base, whether it's milk or whether it's actual fruit sugar or any of the other types of sugar bases. You must offset it with the J juice to balance out both sides of the equation. Okay? And so if you're fermenting cucumbers, you're fermenting, broccoli or any other vegetable, cruciferous, no big deal. I mean, yeah, obviously it's great. Ferment everything that you can in your food supply because it is breaking everything down. It's like having a bunch of little stomachs out there in jars working for you, and then all you got to do, if you can handle the taste, is just drink it. But sometimes it's easier to drink jelly juice, right? And you can add fruit syrup to it to add more of the electrolytes and more of the calories. And then just eat the food supply because your body can break stuff down. You have the energy to do it. But when a person has lack of energy in their body and they have a hard time breaking food down, then fermenting everything in the food supply is like doing baby food. But eventually they're going to have to actually eat solid food, let the body break it down, and they poop out a solid poop. Or else they'll be pooping out a lot of diarrhea when everything is fermented. Okay? And so there is a balance of fermented foods and solid foods, and then what is the base behind the fermentation? Is it sugar? Is it salt? Is it fruit? Alcohol is not a bad thing in very moderation, but when you overdo alcohol, and it also not only ups your sugar levels and ups the covalent bonding, but also it could affect other hormones in your body that are also being triggered to open and close, giving you adrenaline, giving you dopamine, serotonin, all these different pleasurable feelings of why people are attracted to alcohol, which is a fermentation. Okay, so everything is balanced. If you can everything is balanced because you're going to have sugar, right? So if you have sugar in a form of fermentation, fine. You're going to have carbs. You're going to have meat, milk, all that different stuff and the proteins to keep you, going. But if you are steadily losing weight and you're doing fermentation and there's hardly anything to you, and yeah, you look cute and you look great in a bikini, but could you withstand this aggressive electrical soup? And if you have really no substance behind you, are you going to survive the new atmosphere? And so you have to understand why you're doing everything fermentation, why you're exploring fermentation besides J juice, and what is your intention and what do you hope to get out of it? And then when are you going to balance out the proper food supply with it, which is basically everything, GMO, organic, fast food to fresh food. I mean, you need to have a diverse food intake. And so I hope that those that are exploring fermentation are not so discriminating that there's nothing to them, that they can't handle this electrical soup. Because at this point, nobody can afford to be discriminatory in the food supply. They must take in a diverse food. I don't care what it is. Whatever's out there, whether it's Jack in the Box or Whole Foods, you need all of it, because this environment is so aggressive that you cannot afford to be a waif in this society. You can't. All right, bye.